Hey everybody, Elbit12 here. I'm doing a little bit of a different type of video this time. I'm still got some more of the Nuzlocke coming, don't you worry about that, and definitely some more Clover coming later. But I want to do something different, because on Wednesdays I want to do kind of more unique type of videos. So what I've been thinking about doing is doing more of an opinion-based video type thing. I have some top 12s coming, and I have some certain types of reviews coming soon. Hopefully soon. But I've been wanting to do something where I just kind of more just talk about something and just kind of more or less just share my opinions and just kind of ask in general what the heck's going on with certain things or just what people's thoughts on certain things are. So that's this type of video. So this should be a hopefully not too long introduction. Let's get right in. As you guys know very well, I'm a big fan of the Musou or Warriors types of games. It started with Hyrule Warriors, back when I didn't know what Dynasty Warriors and all that meant, and I just knew I like Zelda. I don't know what this is, so this might be good, and I fucking fell in love with it. I still think Hyrule Warriors is probably one of my favorite Musou games. I'm not sure. One of these days, I should totally make a top 12 Musou games. But that got the ball rolling for me to pick up like stuff like Dynasty Warriors. I think it was 8 that came out, 7 or 8, I forgot which one. Samurai Warriors, I believe 3 or 4. I think it was 4 that came out. Let's pick up those two. Dynasty Warriors, you know, I thought it was alright. Samurai Warriors I liked a little bit better. There's a bunch of other ones. The One Piece ones, I love One Piece. I immediately gravitated towards that. Just recently on my channel I've been playing the Berserk ones. And probably for the next few days I just picked up Warriors All-Stars. So you're going to see me stream that. Probably, I streamed it yesterday when this video comes out. I'll probably stream it tonight again. But you know, who knows. But one of the biggest things I'm excited for, speaking of Musous and games, is Fire Emblem Warriors. I am way too excited for this game. I just came back from GameStop from pre-ordering the special edition with all the cards and CDs and stuff. And it's like, I love Fire Emblem. I love the Musou type of games. This is perfect. So it's just like, it's a match made in heaven for me. And like, I feel like the internet was relatively hyped, but like, for whatever reason, everyone's like shitting on this game. So that's the topic of this video is, why is everybody shitting on this game? I don't really know. What I can grasp, I think, is it kind of, the interest fell when they announced that the game's focus was going to be on 3 games. Shadow Dragon, or you know, Marth's game, Awakening, which is Chrom's game, Chrom, Robin, Lucina, that kind of thing, and then Fates, which is, you know, Corrin and the Hoshido side and the Nohr side. Which Shadow Dragons, I like Marth. Shadow Dragons I don't like so much. They did it really weird. I know they did another remake of the sequel game, and they did Gaiden, which I don't think has anything to do with Marth, but I haven't played too far in it yet. But I don't know, like, that one didn't do so well. I'm sure the game, the story and stuff was good. The story was good. Just what the gameplay stuff they did in the game, I didn't like so much. Awakening is one of my favorite Fire Emblem games, if not my favorite Fire Emblem game. It's probably that or Path of Radiance, one of those two. It's probably probably my favorite Fire Emblem games. So that one I'm excited about. Fates, I didn't get into as much, but the characters are cool. Like, I still have to beat that game. I played the Hoshido side and I haven't gotten very far. I haven't even started the Nohr side at all yet. But I remember being okay. Like, it wasn't amazing, but you know, it was alright. It definitely did interesting things that were, you know, interesting. But like, I don't get what this hate's all about. Like, I guess the big hate is because, oh, this like, they only focus on 3 games as opposed to grabbing warriors like from every single game. Which on one hand I could see that, but on the other hand, like, Hyrule Warriors did the exact same thing and nobody complained. Like, they said that obviously when Hyrule Warriors came out, it was characters from Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. And obviously Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess are games that people love. Skyward Sword wasn't really a game that people liked very much. So it's kind of like that, like, Ocarina of Time, you can compare it to like Shadow Dragons, which is a Marth game, which is, you know, good story, but you know, may not have aged as well. It's an older game, but people still like it. Twilight Princess is comparable to Awakening. because it's another like sort of, it's a relatively more popular one. It's a fan favorite, you know, not a huge one, but it's pretty popular. And then Skyward Sword can be compared to as Fates, which is the part of the franchise that people didn't care about so much. But you know, nobody hated on Hyrule Warriors. They thought it was cool. It was basically a Musou game. It was a Musou game that got a lot more traction because it was crossover with Legend of Zelda, and obviously the crossovers with Musou games are typically like, you know, more anime or like more obscure games. I know there was One Piece, which One Piece isn't obscure. There's Fist of the North Star, which, you know, not super obscure. Arsland, which that one's super obscure. Berserk, which again I feel like that one's a vaguely more popular one. So I feel like the thing they cross over with are a little more on the obscure side. So like, I didn't get like super mainstream attention until, you know, there's a Zelda crossover, and that got super mainstream attention. And I guess Fire Emblem Warriors is getting mainstream attention because again, it's like a Nintendo property that's being made into a Dynasty Warriors type game, which is super cool. But like, I don't get why people are throwing so much hate. Like, it might be just because characters from the games they like aren't going to be featured, but at the same time, there was nowhere near this level of hate when Hyrule Warriors was coming out, because I believe pretty early, straight off the bat, I don't remember how early in the game's development it was, I believe they did announce relatively early that it was going to focus on Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. So that wasn't a big surprise, and like, again, people took it pretty well. I feel like because Ocarina of Time, you know, good game. Twilight Princess, relatively good game. I feel like that one's a little more mixed, but Ocarina of Time was definitely like a fan favorite game. And then Skyward Sword wasn't as good, but you know, people didn't care because they're still pretty good characters, and I feel like some people still liked it. But again, with Fire Emblem, it's relatively the same kind of concept. One's like a classic game. One's like, you know, relatively popular game, or, you know, pretty popular game. And then one of them is the more black sheep of the family, which people don't exactly like so much. But it was the most recent that came out at the time, because it came out before Breath of the Wild. So it was the most recent Zelda game. So obviously, it would make sense. They are the most recent main franchises. And again, Fire Emblem, they pretty much did that. Fates and Awakening were the last two major games to come out, which makes sense. And then they include Shadow Dragons, which is a classic game, because, you know, Marth and all that. So it makes perfect sense of why they picked those three, but for whatever reason, people are getting a fucking hissy fit over it, and I don't understand it. Is it like a sense of entitlement with the Fire Emblem fan base that the Zelda fan base just doesn't have? Like, I don't know. I don't want to call Fire Emblem fans entitled, but I feel like that's kind of it. Like, there's so much hate being thrown at this game, but at the same time, I'm so fucking excited for this game. I'm importing it from Japan when it comes out in September, and I got the special edition that I'm getting when it comes out in October. And I also got, you know, the Tiki and Marth amiibo. So, you know, I got pretty much everything I can from America anyway, and partially Japan, that has to do with this game, because I'm that fucking excited for it. But, like, it annoys me when people start off relatively excited. This is the reason I bought a Switch. When they showed the press conference, like, I would say Mario Odyssey was cool, but, you know, I expected a Mario game. Obviously, you know, Breath of the Wild is cool, but, you know, we expected a Zelda game. When they announced Fire Emblem Warriors, I flipped my shit. I'm like, oh my god, I need it. I don't fucking care. I need this game. I need this console. I need to get this game. It's also coming out for the 3DS, which I completely forgot about until I just went to pre-order my game. And they're like, you want the Switch version, right? Not the 3DS version. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a 3DS version. I totally forgot about that. But nevertheless, I don't understand it. If people can fill me in a polite manner, why this is, you know, that'd be cool. Because, like, here's the thing. If Fire Emblem Warriors came out first, and then came out Hyrule Warriors, which it wouldn't have happened in that order, for sure. But if that's the order it did happen, I could kind of understand, like, if Hyrule Warriors never happened and we're just getting Fire Emblem Warriors, I can almost see it. You know, I can almost understand the frustration. But I don't, because we've already had Hyrule Warriors come out. So we already know what's basically gonna happen. Because remember, for Fire Emblem Warriors, or for Hyrule Warriors, they had DLC packs pretty quickly after the game came out. They're like, hey, by the way, get this season pass and you'll get characters from other games. I forgot all the particular games. I know there was Majora's Mask pack. That was like the very end. There's a no Wind Waker. Wind Waker was for the later games. I'll put them on the screen because I don't remember exactly what all the DLC packs are off the top of my memory. And they have pretty much already kind of confirmed for Fire Emblem Warriors that they're going to do the same basic thing for DLC. So just like, if you like Fire Emblem Warriors, but if you like Fire Emblem, but you're not a huge fan of the games that they're including on there, we're going to get DLC packs down the road eventually. Like, I'm basing what I'm thinking they're going to do is, I feel like the first pack they're going to do is Echoes. Because that game is the most recent game that's not a new installment to have come out. It's a remake of an older game, I know that. But it's the most recent game to have come out, period. Not a new installment. So I feel like they couldn't include stuff like that, stuff like Almond Silica, because it was such a new thing. And I feel like the production was already on. It would take a lot longer to like throw these completely brand new characters into the mix. They could have done something, but I feel like they didn't want to rush it, and I dig that. They shouldn't have to rush something just to please people. But I feel like the first DLC pack is going to be Almond Celica as like a DLC pack. Maybe another character from the game. Again, I'm not 100% familiar with the characters yet because I've only played it a little bit. But I feel like definitely Almond Silica, if not another character, who knows. And then I feel like after that, they're going to add, they're going to have like probably another pack or two. Probably going to be like, I know there's probably going to be a Path of Ran / Randon pack. And then like a classic Fire Emblem, or what's it called? Fucking Blazing Sword? I think it's called Blazing Sword. Like, or like, they could do a Seal Sword Blazing Sword thing where they could add Roy and like Hector or something. I don't know. But they're definitely going to do that. They already basically said, I don't think it's, I'm not sure if it was 100% confirmed, but they said there's going to be DLC for this game. And if we've seen anything from Hyrule Warriors, then the DLC is going to be roughly structured in that kind of way. So I just don't understand where the hate's coming from. We know from history that we're basically going to get something around the lines of that. We're going to get this basic game which is going to have characters from these 3 Fire Emblem games on disc, on cartridge. I'm so not used to them not being disc anymore. You're going to have a certain set amount of characters on the game, and then they're later going to release DLC characters, which, is all, good shit. And like, there are other people complaining maybe that there's not enough characters, which they've already announced a pretty good amount of characters, and I know for a fact there's more characters to come. Obviously, they released a Tiki Amiibo. There's not going to make a Tiki Amiibo, a Chrom and Tiki Amiibo for the release of this game, and not release Tiki. Because Chrom's already in the game, so it'd be stupid for them to make a Tiki Amiibo and then not make a Tiki. If they're going to just do that, they would do like, I don't know, like Camilla, or like, fucking, I don't know, what was another character announced pretty early? Fucking one of those 2 dudes from Hoshido or Nor, the Xander or Ryoma. Like, they'll do an amiibo based off of them, and not like Chrom and Tiki. Those are like really weirdly specific amiibos. So I feel like Chrom was already announced. Like, that was like the first character they showed off. But like, I feel like Tiki is a shoe-in, because if Martha could be in the game, Tiki's a shoe-in. Maybe have a costume where it's her awakening form, where she's a little bit older, or even a different character of her being older with a different playstyle. That'd be fucking cool. I feel like the people generally complaining about the play, like the amount of characters, on one hand I can understand, because Musos typically have a lot of characters, but on the other hand, I play Muso games with a lot less characters. I just finished playing the Berserk Muso, at least the story mode. I completed the whole story mode and enough of the Endless Eclipse to unlock Wild. And there, at the end of the game, at the end of the day, there's like only 8 playable characters in that game, which is really short. I mean, it's an anime, it's one anime, but look at fucking One Piece. There's like, what, fucking, like a lot of characters in that game. I'll look it up real quick, put the number on the screen for Pirate Warriors 3. There's a lot of characters in Pirate Warriors 3. But yeah, so like, I can see the upsetness for not having enough characters. But on the other hand, there's a lot of other Muso games that have a lot less characters than that. I mean, not a lot of Musos, but I feel like there definitely are Musos. I believe Arslan didn't have a huge cast. I think it was only like 10 to 12 characters. I didn't get very far in the Arslan one because I wasn't a huge fan of it. And the Dragon Warriors ones, I believe, I haven't played 2. I haven't played the second one. I played a little bit of the first one, and it had a decent amount of characters, but not that many. So like, it's not the smallest cast in a Muso. There's definitely Musos with less characters than with this one. And I do believe they've said in interviews before that this is supposed to have more characters in, built in day one than Hyrule Warriors did. So if that's true, then, you know, Hyrule Warriors had a pretty good amount of characters, you know, day one. And later they released a free DLC for the bad guys, which that was fucking cool. I don't know if they're going to do something like that, if you're going to have the bad guys built in, or they're going to release it later down the line. I feel like the reason why they had a free pack for the villains is because maybe they ran out of time. And they're like, oh, the villains are almost done, but we can't quite finish them before the game comes out. So we're going to make a pretty quick free patch right around the game's release where we can get the villains. There we go. So I feel like they're not going to do the same thing with Hyrule Warriors for Fan Warriors when it comes to the villains. I feel like for them, they're actually going to put them on the disc or include them in a separate DLC pack. Who knows? But I feel like that was the case for Hyrule Warriors. Don't quote me on this because I don't have a, you know, a basis to, you know, say for sure that that's the reason why they did that. But that's what the reason I think they did that. But yeah, so if you have any comments about Hyrule Warriors, not Hyrule Warriors, about Fire Emblem Warriors, and why this is really fucking contested for whatever reason, let me know. Again, I listed the reasons I think it is. It's because either small roster size, or I guess a combination of one of these two. Small roster size, or that, oh, my favorite Fire Emblem game doesn't have characters from it. I mean, I can kind of understand both of those, but at the same time, there's a lot of people shit on this game for not having their favorite characters in there. And at the same time, there wasn't this much shit when Hyrule Warriors came out. Yeah, sure, there were some people who were like, where's Skull Kid? Like, where's Toon Link? Stuff like that. But, like, there wasn't a large majority. There were people who were kind of like, you know, I want Skull Kid, but, you know, if he's not in there, it's not the biggest deal in the world. But we eventually got Skull Kid. But, like, this baffles me. If there's another reason that I missed, then let me know. If anyone has a proper explanation and has any other comments about this whole thing, definitely let me know in the comments below, because I want to hear from some of you guys about this. So yeah, I do believe that's it for this episode of whatever I decide to call this. It's probably not going to have a proper name until I upload it, until we get an episode 2. A lot of yeahs, but I do that a lot. But anyway, so, until next time, this is Emblem 12 signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Peace!